And so there are 4 brief things that I wanted to share. One is a reflection on this very thing we're talking about, the judge, the inner judge. The second is on death, actually. And the third is loving awareness. And the fourth I have titled perfection. So I'll just touch upon them briefly. As always, I'm so cognizant of the fact that in this brief time that we have together, it feels very limiting in a way to be able to do justice to it. But may the words that I want to share with you now land in some way with you and inspire you and carry you through certainly this next week before we gather again together. So let me talk to you first about the idea of the judge. In those who are influenced by Hinduism, they have what they call a puja, which is usually a small table, and on it they put candles and anything that one can look at that brings you into a state of meditation and connection. And on Ram Dass's puja, he had a photograph of himself. And he said that sometimes when people would come in, they would look quizzically at his puja and wonder why on earth would he be sitting and staring at a picture of himself? What kind of ego does this guy have? But really, he said, what it was a chance for him to practice opening his heart to his self. And I imagine if all of us at any given moment for a few seconds or minutes per day would have the ability, and certainly in my case, almost the courage to look at a photo of myself and practice opening my heart to myself. In it, he said, by doing this, you can actually get past the physical and start to look into the storyline. And the storyline really is the first layer. It's what we would call history, his story, her story. And of course, this is just a narrative, a storyline of our predicaments, our life. Dad did this, mum did that, economics did this, education did this, opportunity did this, loss did this, hardship did this. All of it is cause and effect. It's a drama, and he used to call his the Ram Dass story. And of course, if I were, I would be the Pippa Jones story. Mine, I think, would be quite long and complicated. But of course, what we do is we go into a next layer, which is realizing that, in fact, that is not me. It really, in effect, has nothing to do with me. It's just a set of phenomena. And when you look at yourself and you look at your story in that way, you begin to realize, well, actually, what is there to judge? That understanding, how is a flower less than a tree? It's not, it's just different. And in doing so, in contemplating this, you begin to appreciate your uniqueness without feeling that it's better or worse. It's just different. In fact, it's unique. And cultivating that appreciation of uniqueness. Of course, what it is, as Freud knows, and all of us who know about psychology, it's the superego. It's that veneer that keeps us stuck in what appears to be real around us, the physical, the corporeal. And you see that the judge can only judge that. But get past that, not identify with it, says Ram Dass. That is where true freedom lies. You no longer are at war with yourself. You just allow yourself. The other topic that I wanted to touch briefly on is his understanding and his teachings around death. Now, it sounds a bit macabre. Bear with me, because it is important. As somebody once said, it's the only dance that we have guaranteed on our docket. He said for us to remember that it's just changing clothes, a new experience, a new perspective, this time without the body. We are not egos, he says. We are souls, and that doesn't die. I loved a story that he told of when he was with his mother, who was passing away, and he sat at her bedside. And just before she died, she told her son, "Son, I think I'm going to die." And then she asked him, "What do you think it will be like?" Knowing that love goes beyond death, he replied this: "It seems to me that the way you and I connected isn't really defined by the fact that your body, and indeed all our bodies, are disintegrating, because you sound just like you've always sounded, and I feel like I have always felt. I think the fact that you and I love each other, I guess I believe that that's what transcends everything." We're just changing clothes. And in loving awareness, which is how we're going to end our time together, perhaps one of his most well-known teachings is this, and those of you who have a good sense of humor, I think, will appreciate it. He says to treat everyone you meet as if they are God themselves, or as he put it, God in drag. We see God as everything we do and everyone we meet. And by the way, when I use the word God, of course, it really is an understanding of all that is, or essence, or truth, or being, or universe. It has no names. It has many names, and it has no names. So I'm going to use the word God as he did, but it really is open to everyone's understanding and interpretation. But he says to see this in everything we do and everything we meet. And even as I'm sitting here today feeling quite constrained by the fact that my carefully honed and well-planned service has not unfolded in the way that I wanted, can I see the divine in this? Well, truly, of course, that's the challenge for all of us. Because, as we know, the divine is in everything, and it is everything. I'm sure I've shared with you a few times now that I'm so inspired by the Aboriginal culture that says that even to call a rock brother and a mountain sister, it is here that we can find the unlimited supply of unconditional love and compassion. Here, he says, to remember that there is joy, wisdom, contentment, peace. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. We are loving awareness. Easy to do, hard to enact. In fact, I was at something this morning before I came to be with you today, and there was someone that was rattling my cage today, that was making me feel uncomfortable and was really just jangling me, and I felt sort of off balance as a result of it. And then while I was sitting there engaged in these feelings, I remembered what I'm about to share with you today. And I thought, you know what, Pippa? Practice what you preach. And I just decided to drop into that place and say, I am loving awareness. Because as Ram Dass said, it's especially with those that you dislike or that you find disrupt your peace. And that we should use all of these opportunities as an opportunity to widen our capacity and to act from a place of loving awareness. Now, I didn't include it in the order of service, but I will post it. And that is the most beautiful mantra. It's only 10 minutes. And I think if you're going to spend 10 minutes of your day doing anything, listen to this, because in it is his teaching and his mantra and the music that keeps pulling us back into this understanding that we are loving awareness. It's that will enable us to walk ourselves home as well as walk each other home. And finally, I love his teaching on perfection. I've shared with you the last time I think a month ago, we talked about the Tao Te Ching, and I shared with you my favorite verse, which is verse 6. And in it, it says that the whole of the universe is moving and pulsating. And it says very clearly, the reason for this movement is it's pushing us, pushing us, pushing us forward, forward, forward into our wholeness. It's what some would call perfection, but it's a limited word in English language, but that's how it translates. Ram Dass says that life is full of duality, joy and sadness, confusion and clarity, wonder and boredom, yet this is the fullness of life. And to remember that perfection does not align with our emotional responses or feelings, but perfection comes from just being with it. To be at peace with all of these things, in our suffering as much as our jubilation, just to be with it. We can't change things, but we can be, is what he teaches. Everything is a perfect lesson. Everything is I love what he says, to burn our reactivity, to burn out our reactivity. And that, of course, is our attachment to our fears, our desires, our dependency on external things, to everything that, of course, does ultimately make us human. And furthermore, he says, we should say thank you for each and every experience. So I'm going to practice this, and I'm going to say, thank you that this did not work out the way that I wanted it to work out today. And thank you for the gift of being able to be with you in spite of all of that. In Sanskrit, that thank you is tat dvam asi. Translated is not just thank you, it's the ultimate form of compassion. to see ourselves in everything and every experience. And even as I'm talking to you today, I'm seeing how much of myself is wrapped up in making things work perfectly and to be in control.
Yeah.
So I say, tat tvam asi, to this. So let me leave you with these little gems. And thank you, Ram Dass, for sharing them with us. Next time you walk, choose any tree. And remember, like that tree, you are beautiful, just as you are. Remember, in every moment, whether discombobulating or joyous, frustrating, sad, that we are part of everything, and everything is one. And also to remember that even in the midst of stress and confusion, dismay, loneliness, that the heart is just a breath away. And that breath is a doorway to awareness, consciousness, and our essence. And to say at every opportunity, I am loving awareness. Thank you, everybody.
If you like this video, please like us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click on the bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. Thank you.